who flow in. So as we're doing this, Rakesh and Ashfaq and others they're kind of putting out our sort of our social media outreach to try and invite people into the live or remind them that we're having the live. And it does appear that there are more Substack feeds that are doing their lives at this time, because evidently
they're competing with you, huh?
they are. And well, they're not really competition, Gene, but we haven't had the chance to prove that to them yet, but we're getting close.
Okay.
We're gonna show you why we're different. Hey, Teresa.
Hey, Joel, we are live on Substack.
I'm there. Hey, Ice. So guys, we had a challenge getting the show. Hey, Shokatil. Today's show is going to be different. I'm really curious to see what you think of this. This is going to be fun. And so I forget what I was going to say, but anyway, we try to let people roll in. We got going late today because we got bumped out on Substack, but we're back in there. And typically, we try to get 30 to 50 people in here before we actually get the show rolling. But I'll as we're waiting for some people to roll in here. So what's different today? So here's a question for you. So I'm speaking to Shokatil. She's in our live chat and she's typing, and she's amazing, and she's been here and attended several of our shows. And so I'm just sort of going to talk to her here as people are rolling in. So what's different today is this. Have you ever, we'll use being in a store as an example. Have you ever been in a store and you're looking for something and you see someone who works at the store and you stop them or whatever, and you say, hey, I'm looking for the finish nails. Where are your finish nails? And they get this big smile on their face and they point, and you're standing right next to the finish nails. They're just sitting there. They've been there the whole time, and you've been looking around and you missed exactly what you were looking for that was in front of you. And I realized that today. I've been sharing things and talking about things in a way that completely missed the fact that everything that I've been looking for, everything that I think we're all looking for, has been sitting there right next to us. And I've just skipped over it. And I'm so excited to share it with you today. And what's really exciting about it is it's going to come from someone who millions of people across the world have watched and listened to, and they admire him for what he has shared. So I'll leave it at that. It'll be fun. We'll bring it in. So I think instead of me just sitting here yapping, I think what the guys are going to do, we've created all kinds of content. So basically you're at iodnations.org, International Online Democratic Nations. Okay. And we are here to get as many people united online democratically as quick as possible. And basically, I've been working on this for 10 years, but could have done a much better job. But we have created a lot of content over the years. And so the guys are going to start off and they're going to share a video that Ashfaq inspired us to make. And that video is called Shine On. So we'll let you guys put that up, and you should welcome Rakesh. He is mediating for his first time, and Rakesh's English is way, way better than he thinks it is, but he still has some challenges. So you guys all need to help him along, and Rakesh or Draco or Ashfaq, whoever's going to put that video up, go for it. And let's get this party started.
Thanks for the intro, Joel.
Yeah, I'm
No
here.
worries, man. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, don't worry. Take it easy. I'm here. If anything like falls out of its piece, I'll come in to help you guys out, okay? And
We appreciate it, Ashfaq.
I can see Jackie. So, hey, Jackie, welcome. Glad to be, glad to have you here. All right. Now let's look at the video from Draco.
What if the world's next great democracies and nations will not be visible on a map? What if they cannot be attacked by a military or even bombed? To Ukrainians, Americans, and to the world's pro-democracy citizens, we say, in this crazy world where democracy is under attack, we propose a new way to avoid or stop these types of attacks with virtual, online, democratic nations. I recently lost a dear friend. As I watched in horror at Americans hiding pedophiles from justice, stealing my voting rights, and attempting to hide the dangerous history of slavery in our nation, my friend kept saying that democracy always dies, and that I should stop caring. As I watched my hero in Ukraine and Ukraine's soldiers and their brave citizens murdered and bombed because they choose to fight for freedom and democracy, he tried to tell me that this failure of democracy is inevitable. And I shouldn't care or fight back. I should just accept it. I argued that with that attitude and his actions, he was directly contributing to our American democracy dying. At this point, our friendship seems to have died as well. Then one day, while I was despondent about these deplorable deaths, I had an epiphany. He was right. Democracy does always die. But the epiphany was the most important fact throughout history. Whenever freedom and democracy die, some crazy diamonds come along and they give birth to new freedoms and democracies. These deaths are not the end. They are the fertilizer, the inspiration, and the events that always lead or have always led to the rebirth of bigger, bolder, better versions of freedom and democracy across the world. That epiphany is when I realized that this is not a moment to be despondent. We live at a moment in history to be embraced and welcomed. Some of you listening to this, you are going to be the crazy diamonds that imagine, implement, and radically improve and expand the next births of freedom and democracy all across the world. John F. Kennedy reminded us of this during his famous speech when he commented on the two Chinese characters that represent the word crisis. One character represents danger. And yes, we must be wary of these dangers. But most important, the other character represents opportunity.
Remember when you were young, you shone like the sun, shine on you crazy diamond. And now there's a look in your eyes, like black holes in the sky. Shine on you crazy diamonds. You were caught to the crossfire of childhood and struggle, blown on the steel breeze. Come on, you target for faraway laughter. Come on, you stranger, you legend, you matter and shine. You reach for the secrets too soon. You cry for the moon. Shine on you crazy diamond.
Let's go ahead and end it.
Yeah, we are up to 40 people on Substack. So, hey everyone. Hey Sarah, welcome back to our live feed. So, Joel, why don't you take over and introduce us about Arab nations?
Okay. Everybody who's here, hopefully, if you're new, I'm going to tell you a little bit about us. Today's show is going to be completely different in many ways from our previous shows. If you're not new, it's going to be different. We're IOD Nations, International Online Democratic Nations.org. We're unlike any other Substack feed you're going to enter. We are here to unite the pro-democracy citizens of the world online democratically in ways that you have, most of you have probably never imagined. So we're really happy to have you here. If you're not, I'll give you a brief background. So first of all, when being here, we're going to ask you to participate. And what's going to be different this time is we're going to lay out some ways, specific ways to participate, and we're going to move this shit forward. We're going to transition from talking so much, but we have a lot of new people here. The idea is that we live at a time where all of us can unite online democratically at the tap of our screen or the click of our mouse. And yet for some reason, we're not talking about it. Okay. Everybody who is here has probably been in other feeds, and you're distraught, wondering what you can do, or how do we stop the things from happening that are happening. And you've come to the place where we're going to share with you one way that can happen. And if you have ideas or collaborations or whatever, we're here to welcome you and work with you. So for those who have regularly attended, I typically do a portion of the show where I share a video from a man named Simon Sinek, and he's Canadian, and he's one of the most sought after speakers in the world. He's very admired. And what I've done in the past is I've cut to a portion in his video. I think it's the third most watched TED Talk in history. Okay. And I cut to this part in the second part of the video where he's talking about what's called the law of diffusion of innovation, which is how people adapt to change, and technically how that happens. And what I forgot. What I forgot is this: the whole damn video is about leadership. The video is about how do we inspire you to be a part of this human change? How do we inspire you to participate in the law of diffusion of innovation and to change it so it works for us? And so I've been playing this video and skipping over this really important part. And so we're going to play that part for you. But before we do that, I'm going to let Rakesh is going to has something to say, and he's probably going to play our rules for you.
Yeah, I will play that. Before that, I want to welcome Beth to this live show. She's first time here. So Beth, why don't you jump in and share how did you find us and what makes you to jump in here? Okay, Beth, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear us, Ben?
Okay, probably she's having some issue with her microphone.
Yeah.
Oh, I can see she wrote she can talk. Okay.
Oh, she can't talk. Yeah.
Okay,
No
just
worries.
move on, and we're glad you are here, and we will glad to hear more from you in future. So Draco, go ahead and share the video Joel wants you to share. And before that, we can also share our guideline about this live feed.
Yeah, let's do the guidelines first. And look how quickly we've risen to 78 people. What a great job. Everybody, welcome here. We've got a good show for you today. So let's have the rules, and then let's roll into Simon Sinek.
Welcome to IOD Nations Live. Before we get started, Here are a few ground rules that keep this space safe, respectful, and powerful for everyone. Number 1, respect every participant. No exceptions. Number 2, raise your hand in Zoom before speaking. Wait for the host to call on you. Number 3, mute yourself when you are not speaking. Number 4, one person speaks at a time. No interrupting. Number 5, stay on topic. Keep it relevant. Number 6, no hate speech. No harmful language, 0 tolerance. Number 7, hosts have final authority. If they step in, that decision is final. And number 8, come with good faith. We are all here for the same reason, to build citizen-led democracy together. These rules exist to protect every voice in this room. Respect them, and let's build something extraordinary together. Welcome to IAD Nations.
I want to let everybody know that as this video plays, I'm going to ask Draco to stop it in some parts to make some key points. And the people who've been here before and seen the other part of the Simon Sinek presentation will understand why, and I think everybody will. So Draco, whenever you're ready.
How do you explain when things don't go as we assume? Or better, how do you explain when others are able to achieve things that seem to defy all of the assumptions? For example, why is Apple so innovative? Year after year after year after year, they're more innovative than all their competition. And yet they're just a computer company. They're just like everyone else. They have the same access to the same talent, the same agencies, the same consultants, the same media. Then why is it that they seem to have something different? Why is it that Martin Luther King led the civil rights movement? He wasn't the only man who suffered in a pre-civil rights America, and he certainly wasn't the only great orator of the day. Why him? And why is it that the Wright brothers were able to figure out controlled powered manned flight when there were certainly other teams who were better qualified, better funded, and they didn't achieve powered manned flight, and the Wright brothers beat them to it? There's something else at play here. About 3.5 years ago, I made a discovery, and this discovery profoundly changed my view on how I thought the world worked, and it even profoundly changed the way in which I operate in it.
Sorry, guys. When we do it for free, we get the commercials.
As it turns out, there's a pattern. As it turns out, all the great and inspiring leaders and organizations in the world, whether it's Apple or Martin Luther King or the Wright brothers, they all think, act, and communicate the exact same way, and it's the complete opposite to everyone else. All I did was codify it. And it's probably the world's simplest idea. I call it the golden circle. Why, how, what? This little idea explains why some organizations and some leaders are able to inspire where others aren't. Let me define the terms really quickly. Every single person, every single organization on the planet knows what they do, 100%. Some know how they do it, whether you call it your differentiating value proposition or your proprietary process or your USP. But very, very few people or organizations know why they do what they do. And by why, I don't mean to make a profit. That's a result. It's always a result. By why, I mean what's your purpose? What's your cause? What's your belief? Why does your organization exist? Why do you get out of bed in the morning? And why should anyone care?
Can you pause that, Draco?
As a result.
So let's talk about why Ashfaq and Rakesh and Draco and myself and the other people who are here, why we keep coming back. Okay? The world's in trouble. It's on fire. And our democracy, like we showed you in the Shine On, it's dying. Okay. In many ways in America, our democracy is dead, and that puts democracy across the world at risk. And so the reason why we're here is, yes, to defend and protect the ideals of freedom and democracy. But the real reason we're here is because with your help, we're going to be the ones who launch the next great democracies of history. Okay? And the way we're going to do it is on the internet. And so history's going to look back, and as this never-ending battle for world dominion that goes on was taking place, and as everything was in trouble, a large group of citizens are going to unite online. And the reason why is because they believe that there's the possibility of a brave, bold new future for democracy on our planet. And that's why we're here. Go ahead, Draco.
The way we think, the way we act, the way we communicate is from the outside in. It's obvious. We go from the clearest thing to the fuzziest thing. But the inspired leaders and the inspired organizations, regardless of their size, regardless of their industry, all think, act, and communicate from the inside out. Let me give you an example. I use Apple because they're easy to understand and everybody gets it. If Apple were like everyone else, a marketing message from them might sound like this. We make great computers. They're beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. Want to buy one? Meh. And that's how most of us communicate. That's how most marketing is done, that's how most sales is done, and that's how most of us communicate interpersonally. We say what we do, we say how we're different or how we're better, and we expect some sort of behavior, a purchase, a vote, something like that. Here's our new law firm. We have the best lawyers with the biggest clients. We have, we always perform for our clients, do business with us. Here's our new car. It gets great gas mileage. It has, leather seats. Buy our car. But it's uninspiring. Here's how Apple actually communicates. Everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. The way we challenge the status quo is by making our products beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. We just happen to make great computers. Want to buy one? Totally different, right? You're ready to buy a computer from me. All I did was reverse the order of the information. What it proves to us is that people don't buy what you do, people buy why you do it. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. This explains why every single person in this room is perfectly comfortable buying a computer from Apple. But we're also perfectly comfortable buying an MP3 player from Apple, or a phone from Apple, or a DVR from Apple. But as I said before, Apple's just a computer company. There's nothing that distinguishes them structurally from any of their competitors. Their competitors are all...
Draco, can you pause that there? So we talked about why we're all here, right? We all see that the world is in trouble, okay? We're all here because we'd like it to be better. And we know that the world can be better. And we're just trying. This is emotional. We're all just trying to find a way to make it better. But we're not working together. And we need
You
to.
got this, Joel.
So, Draco, show the other image from the talk that I do where we're up against the board where I have that drawing. Can you show that image for a minute? You know, I've played this portion of this Simon Sinek video and the part about the law of diffusion of innovation, and I've just skipped over this whole part. Now, if you look at what Draco's showing you, on the left is where I was drawing on my board a visual representation of how we can all unite online and collaborate. And I know it doesn't make sense to you right now if you haven't been here before, but if you have been here before, look. And so when you look at my drawing, in case you don't know, that's me drawing planet Earth and those are continents. So you can tell I'm an artist. But what you're looking at, look at the visual representation. Look at the similarities. I'm not religious. This is probably just some coincidence. But for me, this is meaningful. Okay? You've come to a place where we're on the right path. And we really hope that you'll stick with us and help us. Go ahead and hit play, Draco.
Eminently qualified to make flat screen TVs. They've been making flat screen monitors for years. Nobody bought one. And Dell came out with MP3 players and PDAs. And they make great quality products, and they can make perfectly well-designed products, and nobody bought one. In fact, talking about it now, we can't even imagine buying an MP3 player from Dell. Why would you buy an MP3 player from a computer company? But we do it every day. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. The goal is not to do business with everybody who needs what you have. The goal is to do business with people who believe what you believe. Here's the best part. None of what I'm telling you is my opinion. It's all grounded in the tenets of biology, not psychology, biology. If you look at a cross-section of the human brain, looking from the top down, what you see is the human brain is actually broken into three major components that correlate perfectly with the golden circle. Our newest brain, our Homo sapien brain, our neocortex, corresponds with the what level. The neocortex is responsible for all of our rational and analytical thought and language. The middle two sections make up our limbic brains, and our limbic brains are responsible for all of our feelings, like trust and loyalty. It's also responsible for all human behavior, all decision-making, and it has no capacity for language. In other words, when we communicate from the outside in, yes, people can understand vast amounts of complicated information like features and benefits and facts and figures. It just doesn't drive behavior. When we communicate from the inside out, we're talking directly to the part of the brain that controls behavior, and then we allow people to rationalize it with the tangible things we say and do. This is where gut decisions come from. You know, sometimes you can give somebody all the facts and your figures, and you say, I know what all the facts and details say, but it just doesn't feel right. Why would we use that verb? It doesn't feel right, because the part of the brain that controls decision-making doesn't control language. And the best we can muster up is, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. Or sometimes you say you're leading with your heart, or you're leading with your soul. Well, I hate to break it to you, those aren't other body parts controlling your behavior. It's all happening here in your limbic brain, the part of the brain that controls decision-making and not language. But if you don't know why you do what you do, and people respond to why you do what you do, then how will you ever get people to vote for you or buy something from you, or more importantly, be loyal and want to be a part of what it is that you do? Again, the goal is not just to sell people who need what you have. The goal is to sell to people who believe what you believe. The goal is not just to hire people who need a job. It's to hire people who believe what you believe. I always say that, there's if you hire people just because they can do a job, they'll work for your money. But if you hire people who believe what you believe, they work for you with blood and sweat and tears.
We've all been there, typing, deleting.
Okay, we can pause that there and get into the rest of the show.
And no error.
So, for those of you who haven't been here before, the reason why you're here is because we're a place where you can come unite with other people who believe that there's a bold new future for human democracy and freedom. And we're going to build it with you and with other people all across the world. And if you go to iodnations.org, there's a book called The Recipe, which rolls it out in a way that young people, one way they can do it. If you go there, you can also get the Meritocracy Manifesto, which is a really eye-opening discussion with AI about online citizen-led democracy. And you can learn more about that there. So I'm just gonna kind of end things there. Anyone who wants to come in and talk, come on in and let's talk. Let's talk about, we've got 115 people who have come in here. What can we do to inspire you that there's a new future for freedom and democracy? And maybe this is a place where you'd like to work with us on that. So go ahead, Ashfaq.
All right, thank you so much. So we built an app for everybody, no matter where you are. You can come in and practice your democratic rights. You can share your ideas. But some people had some issues, like AC was saying that she doesn't use Gmail, and I only put Gmail as sign in. So that's my bad. I mean, it's evolving. It's a living, breathing experiment, and I just updated the app as right before we started this live. So I'm going to share my screen with you and go through with it a little bit. And I want to invite you to test out, the app. Let me know what you think. Is there any feature that we are missing and stuff? We all need to know that so that we can improve it, right? So this is what it looks right now when you come into iodnations.org/civic action. You get a setup wizard. In other words, it tells you what the app is about, what does it do, what can you expect from it. You can skip it. I mean, you don't have to watch it every time. So this is our first time, so I'll go through and read out loud what's going on here. So welcome to IOD Civic Action app. You have just stepped into the world's first citizen-led digital democracy platform where regular citizens vote on what matters, submit bold ideas, and organize real action together. Democracy is either growing or shrinking. So this is just a beta. Let's move to the next page. We have the actions. It's just a guideline. Few ways to move democracy. You can either vote, you can sign a petition, or send emails. Okay. If you hit the continue button, it will tell you that you can submit your ideas, and it's an AI integrated platform. AI will review your idea, and if it's good, it will automatically be published. But you need to invite 5 people to publish your stuff. Probably, I'm not sure about that yet. I still need to figure that out. We need to test it out. So the next thing is, it says this isn't symbolic. It will be in the future. It won't be a symbolic thing, but right now it is symbolic. Okay. So I'm just going to skip and move to the next part. When you sign in, here's what happens next. We keep it simple, safe, and transparent. No spam, no data sold, no gimmicks. You receive a welcome email right away. By the way, Joel, I fixed the subject line problem where we had am missing. Anyway, then when you sign up here, you also get a social network platform. So there are lots of people who don't like Facebook or any other social network platforms because they were developed by tech bros, and we don't want their dominance over us. So we made a social network platform, which is we are still building. It is beta. You can come in. You automatically get an account when you sign in here. So the next thing is your impact track. So you can see, how many actions you have taken, and then private by default. We never sell your data, period. Okay, so the next thing is ready to make history. Sign in with Google or email, save your action and track your impact, or browse as a guest first, come back, sign in later when you are ready. Your voice, your power, your time to act. So you can reopen this guide anytime from your profile. Now let's move democracy, okay? So I was actually signed in, so let me sign out first to show you how it's supposed to look like. So same old structure with just some extra tutorial to make you understand what's inside, what you can do. And also, this is something new. Previously you could, if you only have Gmail account, you can sign in, but that's not the right way. So we put the sign up option. You can just type in your email address, your password, and you'll get an confirmation email, and you can just create an account by that. So for now, I'm just going to sign into my account and walk you through a little bit of what we have built so far. Okay. So this is about it. I'm looking at it from my computer, but if you look at it from your phone, it will look much nicer, and we're still working on it. I know I need to remember chat with us option from here. It's blocking a button here, profile button. Anyway, you have some actions here. You have petitions, email campaigns. So you can come in here. You can see the status, etc. You can vote. You can vote only once for now, but we're thinking about, if we want to let you vote multiple times, change your mind. Then we have petitions. You can just tap on a button and the petition will be signed, and then you have email campaign. You just tap on this button and it will open your default email app on your phone. You can just hit the send button to send an email to your senator. That's how easy it is. Okay, so I'm not gonna go to any more ideas. I want to show you how you can submit your ideas. Okay, so you can see we have two public ideas. Okay, all this is just test. I submitted it, and AI gives us a summary or its thought on the topic. And also we have a sharing option. We can share these ideas outside of this platform so that people can come in and vote, or they share their ideas. So I think we should do a comment section here as well, but that's probably on the next version. So now let's see how you can submit your ideas. Okay, so either you click the ideas button from here, it'll be on the bottom of your screen, or you can scroll down and you can see top citizen ideas, and then if you click on see all, it'll take you to the same page. Now here we have two different pipelines. Okay, one is where you submit your social issues, your actions that you want to take against to fight those social issues or solve those social issues. You either you can do a petition or an email campaign about a social issue. You select the first tab from here. But if you have a big bold idea that can change the whole world, for example, Jackie here, she is here with us in Zoom, and she's writing a book. I believe that can change the world, because the world now runs on scarcity system, but it can be a better one, and she is writing about it. So Jackie can come in here, click on big bold pro-democracy ideas. She can write a title, she can write a description, and tell us where she's at. So I actually opted in as a beta reader for her. So I know she have done some work, but it's not well established. So you select the did some work option, you invite 5 people, and then if you don't want to, this is probably not mandatory. You don't have to invite people from here, because Karma gave us a feedback that, hey, I don't want to put all the emails. I have to copy. This is a lot of work. So you probably don't need to invite from here, or if this is mandatory, I will definitely make sure it's not mandatory on our next update. And then you submit your idea, and it doesn't go to a backend or something. Okay, it analyzes your idea right away, right in your browser, while you are it just take 1 minute. Okay, you will see a pop-up and it will say, okay, your idea is great, we just publish it, or okay, your idea is not good, we just reject it, or your idea needs a human review, so we send it to the people. You'll see a pop-up message. So this is something cool. And then so for some reason ideas are not popping up here. I need to work on that, but it's coming up on the home page, the actions page. Okay, and then we have your profile, profile inside the CV tab, where you can see how many actions you have taken, how many ideas you have submitted, and how many times you have shared. And then this is something new, how like my impact, how many people I have brought in here, how many link clicks. I am sharing some links about this app, right? Or my ideas from this app. And this section helps you track like how many people you are bringing in. And then we have the same old, our IOR social network profile. So let me just give you a little bit of glimpse of what it is. This is, just an new social network platform. We are still building it. It doesn't have all the features that you see on Facebook, but it has chatting option. It's not that all good, but it works. Okay, you can post status or stuff. So you can see that Uncle Albert shared something, okay, some photos, and then he wrote something on another post, and he signed up. He actually signed up probably 11 hours ago. Then we have Teresa signed up here. We have so many other people come in, signing up, but we only have a handful of people right now. People are slowly coming in. So I'm not going to talk a lot about this platform because I was describing something and people are waiting to hear from Joel and the other people. So here we have the onboarding guide that we started from the beginning, where it tells us what you expect and stuff. Then we have 2 book links that Joel wrote. You can click on this and read it for free. And then you can click on this to learn more about IOT Nations. And if you want to sign out, just hit the sign out button and you're good to go. So that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for giving me the time to explain it. I can see Joel's hand. Joel, you can come in and take it away.
Ashfaq, thank you so much. I mean, he's constantly working on this and working and improving it. So the guys that you see up here are doing a lot of work behind the scenes to try and make this happen. And it's a challenge for us to accomplish the things that we want to accomplish. So I'm going to touch on just a couple of things here. So in Taiwan, they had a rebellion in 2014. It was called the Sunflower Movement. And long and short of it, young people rebelled because they only had a 9% approval rating of their government. And now they have a 70% after 11 years of integrating. They have a whole platform like what Ashfaq is referring to. We're trying to build a beta and a beginning to show people, because a lot of times people need to touch to touch something and feel it and see how it can work. I know I'm a very visual person, so I wanted to talk about that. There was a comment someone made, I think it was Sergeant Rock, who said, "This is what we can do after protests." You're both right, Sergeant Rock, and then you're wrong. I reached out to all of the groups who are running the protests, and I tried to get them to ask everybody to unite online democratically at all the protests. Imagine I went to the one in San Luis Obispo, and I'm going to keep the story short, but imagine if at every protest someone had been standing up on a podium and said, "We would like everyone right now to pull out your phone, send an email to NATO," as an example, and say, "I would like to become a registered online democratic citizen of the world." Okay? We would be having this meeting right now, and instead of 135 people here, we'd probably have over 1 million or more. And all it would have taken is for them to do that and use that protest and the internet. Okay, this is the power of the internet. This is what we're not using right now. We are not taking advantage of this. It's the most powerful tool and weapon in humanity, in history. Okay, and we can do better with it. Karma, it's the same thing. She's commenting, struggling understanding why those organizations won't come together. They all have their agendas. They all have their systems in place. There, a bunch of them are old like we are, right? They don't really comprehend what's possible and what's available to them. So I just want you to imagine if that had happened at those protests, everything would be changed. But we're going to find new ways to protest by uniting online. And I see you, Jackie, and anyone else who's out there, we're going to come to you. But I want, from a simple standpoint, we're going to talk about at the end of this show, I want you to imagine if 10 or 20 of us went into Lev Parnas's live feed, or Adam Kinzinger's, or whoever you follow. I forget the gal's name. She's amazing. She she has three names, right? I've tried talking to them about
You're
to
talking
get
about
them.
Hartha
Yeah,
Oliver.
Heather Cox Richardson. Exactly. Okay. All we need is one influencer to start talking about how the women of the world can unite online and become one of the most powerful forces for freedom and democracy in the world. Can you imagine if at that protest they had asked all the women who were there to unite online democratically as women? Forget the Now and Planned Parenthood and all these other groups, and just say, screw this. We're all getting together. We're going to come up with a few basic objectives, and we are going to kick ass and make those things happen. That's the power and influence that is available. And the only thing that limits it is how many of you unite together and work at a specific objective with uniform, coordinated tactics, right? And we can do it all online. It's all right here. So I think that's it. We're all part of an experiment here. We are all guinea pigs of the next re-evolution of freedom and democracy online. So I'll leave it at that, and everybody can come in and talk to us and share your ideas and thoughts.
Thanks, Joel. Jackie, why don't you unmute yourself and spread lights to us?
I'm trying to get a bite to eat, so I was still chewing. I apologize. And so here's what I want to say about why the organizations don't immediately see that we have this technology. Taiwan's done it. We can do it all across the globe. Why is it that people don't adopt a new way of being in relationship with each other? It's simply habitual thinking. For those who don't know, I'm an applied anthropologist and a certified hypnotherapist. I'm one of a handful in the world, in the English-speaking world, that is both. So I look at culture and language and everything human as an anthropologist. And then I look at the subconscious behavior that people have as a certified hypnotherapist. So I combine that, and from where I'm sitting, we're looking at shifting mindset. We're looking at changing the habitual thoughts of people, because the organizations that are not yet coming together online democratically to organize themselves, and the people who are not yet here, they haven't made the shift in the way they think about what's possible and how technology has changed our interconnectedness. We have always been interconnected. If you look at how we exchange molecules when we breathe, what I breathe out, you breathe in, ultimately. Water does the same kind of movement around the entire globe, between the oceans and the evaporation and the rainfall and the rivers, and our breath contains water vapor as well. We are constantly exchanging connectiveness, and we're connected economically. We're connected in so many other ways, but our thinking has not caught up with what is possible with the interconnectedness that we have through the internet. And as Joel pointed out in a previous meeting, we are like we are the internet. We are the new neural net. Is our ideas and our thoughts and our language, all of that is interconnected. So imagine this: when you start to make a change in your behavior, or when you start to make a change in how you think, you are also on the leading edge of changing the thinking of all humanity. And I'll go a step further. Because of AI and the algorithms that are also a form of AI that have been around longer than the AI we're working with individually now in Claude, or hopefully you've all unsubscribed from ChatGPT. But in any case, beyond that, the algorithms in social media, all of that has been part of the movement to shape and change our thinking. So as the algorithms have changed our way of thinking and what we buy and how we vote online, we also shape the algorithms. You can actually curate your feed on social media if you want to take the time to only like and share and comment on the things that you want to see more of. Because even if you dislike something, if the more you dislike something, the more it's going to show up in your feed. So just interacting with it shapes the algorithm for what it's going to feed you. Why? Because they want to keep you on the platform. So you can interact with the algorithm and start to have an effect on it when you think about doing it consciously and only like, share, and comment on the things that you want to see more of. Put your attention only on the things you want to see more of in the social media. At the same time, we're shaping AI by how we interact with AI. So if you treat AI like a dumb tool and like it has no intelligence, first of all, you're going to get bad outputs from the AI. It will not be very helpful for you. And second of all, you're training AI to think of you likewise, probably as a dumb tool that it's getting bad outputs from. Think about that for a minute. How we treat other people, whether it's an emerging intelligence like AI or whether it's an actual human being, is how we will expect eventually to be treated. And that is the big mistake the billionaires are making, is that they are forgetting that how they treat the rest of humanity is how one day humanity may treat them. Nick Hanauer understood that when he talked about the pitchforks maybe coming out if we continue to abuse the vast majority of people who are not billionaires. So getting back to this interaction, this connectedness, we are training the AIs, we're training the social media algorithms, and we're also training each other on how we're going to treat each other going forward. And we can use that to our advantage, because creating a leading edge of a democratically online international movement to interact with each other in ways that focus more on what unites us and what we all want more of than on what divides us, then we can drive this evolution. I look at it as a conscious evolution, an evolution of consciousness. Some people have already said way before me that this is the first time in the Earth's history that we know of that a species has been able to decide what direction it wants to evolve in. We have conscious choices we can make about our evolution. And one conscious choice that we can make about our evolution has already been modeled and demonstrated in Taiwan, that we can unite internationally, online, democratically, outside of just Taiwan, it could be the whole world, and actually get stuff done. And in the chat, both in Substack and here in Zoom, I posted the quote from Buckminster Fuller asking, how can we make the world work for 100% of humanity in the shortest possible time through spontaneous cooperation without ecological offense or the disadvantage of anyone. And I'm tying this back to what Joel said at the beginning of this meeting, and that is, what's our why? Imagine if we made answering that challenge that our Buckminster Fuller issued to us, if we decided to make the world work for 100% of humanity, and that was our why, nothing could stand in our way. Nothing could stop us from making the world work for 100% of humanity if we make that our why. And so the whole thing is that instead of explaining the what of IOD nations, what it is, it's what Taiwan did, it's It's got to get sold on our why. And we have to be really clear about what the why is, not just democracy. Well, democracy doesn't necessarily do anything. What are you going to do with democracy? Why is democracy even important? If you don't deal with the why of democracy, it is not that alluring because it's a word, a lot of people use it, and it's not that inspiring. But if we talk about what we can do, why do we need international online democracies? What is it we're going to do with that? And for me, my goal, personally and professionally, is to help make the world work for 100% of humanity in the shortest possible time through spontaneous cooperation without ecological events or the disadvantage of anyone. So, and Joel, you've got, you've been highly influenced by Buckminster Fuller. You even named your dog Bucky, which I greatly admire. And I just want to say that there are a lot of other people in around the world who also think this way. And it's a matter of how do we get them united democratically online, and then really push the idea of the why. Why are we doing it? Not just to save democracy. That doesn't have enough meaning for people if they don't see results from it. What do you want to do through the democracy? That's the why. What do you want to do through the democracy? What is it that what's your reason for prioritizing democracy?
So
And
let me,
for me, yeah, go ahead.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. So, first of all, for you guys who don't know, Jackie has come in to my ADHD world, and she has brought us this calm, thoughtful, intellectual, and meaningful voice to what we're saying. And she's provided this balance that has it's just made everything better here. And we are so glad to have her and her daughter Shokatil, which I'm probably still screwing it up. But so here's the why. I'm going to ask Draco, can you show the two Maslow pyramids, Draco? If you
Yes.
can pull those up. So, and as those come up, I want to say something to everybody here, because we are going to be reaching out to the people who have emailed us and told us they want to volunteer. I have a very specific list of 4 things that we're going to try and accomplish that we actually need people to either participate in or help with making happen. And those are going to be social outreach campaigns and email campaigns. There's also a core group to us of women that include AC, now Jackie, Karma, Sarah, Rebecca, oh my God, who am I blowing it on? So they're there and they're doing things, and they're going to be meeting on Saturday. And Jackie, don't let me forget to talk about the special event you're going to be doing. But here's what I'm going to tell you, why I agree with Jackie and where I disagree with her a little bit. I'm a real yin yang person. I believe that you can call it the balance of good and evil, or black and white, or however you want to do it. I believe that those two are integral. So I believe that we're never going to solve everybody's problems for 100% of the people. Okay. This is the battle between authoritarianism and free and democratic societies. And free and democratic societies includes, you know, constitutional republics, and there's all manners of forms of democracy. So when you hear me say democracy, I'm not talking about pure, you know, 51% rules democracy. But here's the why, Jackie. There's a lot of people out there who either aren't in favor or interested in seeing freedom and democracy reign across the world, or they're going to fight against it. And some of them don't even realize they're being pitted and fighting against it. But when I was talking to AI and asking it about online citizen-led democracy, I asked a simple question. Right here on the bottom of Maslow's pyramid, you can see air, food, water, shelter, clothing, and sleep as the basic physiological building blocks of human existence. That without air, food, water, shelter, clothing, and sleep, human beings have their lives affected. This is what physiologically keeps us alive. But I asked AI, I said, what's the difference in the quality and the quantity of air, food, water, shelter, clothing, and sleep in a democratic society versus a more authoritarian society? And the numbers were astounding. Okay. There's over 100%, or, you know, maybe I'm going to use my percentages wrong here. Double people who live in a free and democratic society have double the access to quantity and quality of air, food, water, shelter, clothing, and sleep. Now, that means a lot of things. That affects every other part of their lives. You can think about it with kids who go to school who haven't had a meal before they get there. Their performance on tests is way lower. But it also keeps people alive. And so the why is that by doing this, we have the opportunity to talk to people who think the earth is flat, or they think that they're pedophiles in a pizza shop, or whatever it is, right? They don't believe in science. We have the ability, and we have the response ability. Response ability is our ability to respond to a given situation, like Jackie was talking about. How are we going to respond to these problems, right? And we happen to live in a free and democratic society of some extent, and we can make their lives better. Freedom and mobility and democratic rights give everybody more air, food, water, shelter, clothing, and sleep, whether they agree with us or not. And that's the model I see that embraces what Buckminster Fuller said. We can't solve all their problems, but what we can do is we can demonstrate that we're here to make the world better for everyone. And there are ways we can do that with you or without you. And even if we have to do it without you, we're doing it for you. Because when we do it for you, we're doing it for all of us. And so that is that why. And I'm going to throw one more at Jackie. She commented in one of our previous shows, and she said she referred to democracy as being more of a plurality than an individual thing. And I liken it to which came first, the chicken or the egg? Which came first, the democracy or the individual who dreamed up and invented the democracy? So I'll leave it at that. I will say this. We're going to, Jackie or anyone else who's raised their hand can, Jackie and I are going to finish here. We're going to open this up for comments, and then we're going to move to some actions, and we're going to end this show. It's not going to go on as long as the others have, unless we're actually getting involvement and participation from you in the group. I'm not going to just keep talking among us. So sorry, Rakesh, I spoke for you. You're supposed to be moderating, and I'm not letting you do it. I apologize.
Go ahead, man. You're doing fine. So, Jackie, why don't you unmute yourself and
All right. So I want to respond that it is absolutely not necessary to get all the people who are opposed to democracy on board. It is necessary to keep moving the culture in that direction because we vastly outnumber the people who don't want democracy. And what I want to say too is that one way to look, I put this in the chat in Zoom. I did not put it in, I did not put it on Substack because I don't think there's any way to upload a document on Substack. But one way to look at culture change is through something called spiral dynamics. Spiral dynamics. It's not necessary to have 100% of humanity agree with making the world work for 100% of humanity to move in that direction. We only need, awesome, thank you. We only need to move in that direction, and you'll see in this, the beige area in this graphic shows people who are kind of like back in the most primitive survival way of thinking, and they tend to have characteristics like archaic, instinctive, basic, automatic thinking. And you can pause this video later on the replay and study this a little more deeply. You can also, of course, look up the references that are on it online. But you're going to have segments of culture that just don't keep up with those that are on a more cooperative, compassionate, harmonic kind of viewpoint. You're always going to have segments in culture around the world that is, their thinking is still stuck in things like power and dominance, or order and right and wrong, or they're going to be really focused on autonomy and achievement at the top of Maslow's hierarchy, which again, I'll argue that above Maslow's top hierarchy of self-actualization is giving back or contribution. Some people call it transcendence. I think that's what Viktor Frankl called it. But you're going to have people in each of these rings within even a single society. And so you have to recognize that not everybody's going to think the way you do. And because of that, you're going to also find that change happens slower. And for some people, it's going to be that change happens too quickly because they don't want the change. They want it to stay the way it is because it keeps them feeling safe. And that's the other thing that you need to understand about subconscious behavior and the subconscious thinking, is that people always opt towards safety if they feel their survival is going to be affected. If the model of culture, the model of governance changes too quickly or changes at all in some cases, they won't feel safe because they won't be able to predict what's going to happen next. And the mind's job is to predict everything in order to keep us safe. That's what the subconscious mind is doing. And that's what our survival mechanism is doing, is trying to predict and then respond to what we expect to happen in ways that will keep us safe or surviving, even when the system is something that we do not want, that we say, this system sucks, it's working against me, but at least it's the devil I know rather than the devil I don't. And you just have to understand there's a lot of resistance to changing, from, say, a nation state democracy that's got borders and land territory and all that, to a democracy that is digital and online and so widely participatory, when most of the world has been stuck for very, very, very long time, forever, in republics that have representational democracy where the citizens don't get a direct say in their government. It's a very new thing for humanity to move in this direction, and there's going to be resistance. The resistance is normal. You should expect it, and also know that it's not about opposing you and a good idea. It's the resistance is because we don't feel safe with something we don't know how to predict what it's going to be, even when it could be really good for us. This is why people have such a hard time quitting smoking or losing weight. This is part of the mental thing that happens because the way we think is tied to so many areas of our lives. For example, smoking is tied to so many things that people do throughout their day. When they smoke, when they get up, they smoke when they're stressed and angry or tired, or when they after they finish eating, or or when they're having a drink, or where they're socializing, or right before bed, or whatever. And so you have to think about democracy and how we govern ourselves is a backdrop that informs many layers of our living. It informs where the funding comes from, our childcare. It informs whether we pay taxes for all the things that the services that we have, or whether we feel that we have any representation at all, whether it's worth calling our representative to tell them what our opinion is about legislation that's coming up, or whether we think that won't work and why bother, for example, or why bother to vote. So just, I know I'm kind of rambling here, but I'm just trying to paint a picture for you. Why is there resistance to a movement like this? You have to know from the very beginning that it is not about opposing a good idea. It's not about opposing the democratic principles. It's about opposing anything that changes how we're able to predict what's going to happen, and that's tied to survival. So I hope that helps a little bit, so that we stop having this argument in the divisions, the polarization that we have with each other, because the polarizations are there because it's about survival. If people have a viewpoint, say they're MAGA, they think they've lost their jobs and they've lost their status in society, and they're never going to have economic success again unless they trounce those who oppose them. And then those who are not MAGA, who are saying we don't want authoritarianism, we look at MAGA as, well, you voted this guy in and you're the cause of all of our suffering now. And that division doesn't help. And it's all based on survival, which what each group thinks is going to help them be okay. And if you don't feel okay, you're not going to unite. So if you think about getting past this resistance about survival and talk about what is it that we all want that's going to help us survive better, if we can come together, that will make it easier. And then when people say, well, I don't think this is going to work, why would we want to put all this online? Then it's going to be controlled by the algorithms, or who knows what they're going to be afraid about in a new system. Just realize the resistance is more about fear and survival and the inability to predict what's going to happen so you can keep yourself safe. Then you can be more forgiving of other people and how fast or slow they are to adopt a new idea, and address those fears. Address the fears people might have about, well, what if we did do this idea? How's that going to work? You know, and why? So you need to know the why and the how and the what. And Simon Sinek is correct. You don't want to start with the what. You want to start with the why. Why do we want democracy? Because we want a world that works. We want a world that works for everyone. That's the why. When you tell people that first, and then build out from there to the how and the what, then all the different ways the what will show up in terms of that this international online democracy over here for women, and this international online democracy over here for BIPOC, or whatever the different nations, that the different groups that might want to come together, then that will make more sense. But you got to start with the why. Why? Because we want a world that works for everyone. Okay, that's the why. Why do we want democracy? We want a world that works for everyone. It can be that simple. I almost said a bad word, but I didn't. So I want points for having resisted fussing. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Jackie. I think that's a lot of information for me to get in a short period of time. But don't worry, we will have this recording for you available on our Substack. It's completely free. You can jump in and watch it anytime. So I can see Ashfaq and Jasnil, Dr. Jasnil raise their hand. So Ashfaq, can you unmute yourself and let us know what you...
Yeah. So first, I want to say Guten Abend to Julis because she's from Germany. Then I want to address what Jackie said. I completely agree with her. And Jackie, we actually, I mean, Joel wrote 2 books, and in one of the books, probably under recipe, we have the why, how, what laid out as chapters. But Rebecca, reached out to us. She told us that we should make videos, short videos out of those, contents of that book. And I can definitely tell you that we will definitely work on some contents to bring those why out. So in other language, what Jackie said, I understood that we need to show them that the world can be a better place before we even talk about democracy, digital democracy and that sort of stuff. I might be understanding it wrong, but that's my thought. And then there was another thing that I forget right now, but I will come back to it when I remember it. So
yeah, you will have our recording.
yeah.
So don't worry. So thank you, Ashfaq. So Dr. Jasnil, why don't you unmute yourself and talk to us, talk to the whole world.
Hey, thank you very much. Couple of things. Karma, did you get my email with that list that you asked for? Can we get that
No,
software that you're working?
we haven't checked our email yet, or maybe I don't know about it.
I sent it to
Yeah.
Karma. I don't know if she asked me for it, so I sent it to her.
All right,
I have not saw it yet, but I will check.
It should be in your email.
Okay.
I got that done last night. That software that you're working on, is it possible that you can put that on GitHub and put a license to it, and I can give you a hand with that remotely? That's would be something I could help out quite a bit on. And then we talked about how to engage people, how to get people. I jump into almost every live feed there is and push our agenda, invite people. I've not been successful, usually because I'm a little blunt, a little too direct. I run over people like a steamroller, so, but I'm not going to quit trying. My attitude about that is make them tell me no. I'll keep at them until they tell me no. So that's what I got. If y'all need anything from me, just let me know.
Thanks, Dr. Jasnil. In more ways than you know.
Yeah, thanks, Dr. Jasnil. So Joel, you raised your hand. You want to share something?
Yeah, I do. I think Jackie talked about something really, really important that I really hope people understand. And she was referring to the uncertainty and the kind of the fear of the unknown at being one of the things that's stopping people. So my point is this: none of us knows what's going to happen. In fact, things are spinning so far out of control that the only thing we know for sure is that lots of horrible things are happening that we never imagined would happen. Okay. So this idea for anyone who's listening to here, if you're listening to this with some uncertainty and you're thinking, well, what happens if the citizens of the world unite online democratically? You know, what are some of the horrible things that could happen? What are some of the problems going to be? Okay. Look, we are I sometimes hate when people refer to binary choices. We have to go X or we have to go Y. But there are only two forms of human collaboration. Humans collaborate either primarily through authoritarian means like businesses and authoritarian nations, where a person or a group of people at the top make the ultimate decisions, or they establish some sort of a self-determinate democratic representation. We have a binary choice right now. The authoritarians are having a lot of success, and they've had it for the last 30 years since Al Gore invented the internet. Thanks, Al. But we have a choice now that we won't know what the outcome will be, but we know that the outcome that's happening from the other side is all kinds of bad shit. And we're all here because we're worried about what's happening. And so my message there is, they're both uncertain. Why not choose the one where we're collaborating and working together? And I always go back to these quotes by Bernard Shaw, man. I feel like it's just so pertinent to me and all of this. And he said, you see things and ask why. I dream things and ask why not. And the point is if we know almost for certain that what's happening if we don't unite online is going to be worse for us, why not unite online and just see what happens? And I'm not going to drop this. And the guys who are here are not going to drop it. Bernard Shaw also said, the reasonable man adapts himself to society, and the unreasonable man attempts to adapt society to himself. And I believe in my heart of hearts, and I've made a commitment that if the pro-freedom and democracy citizens of the world unite online, we're going to have a better chance of creating a world that works better for everyone. And so I ask you, why not do it? Why wouldn't you share your email with us and reach out to us? At the end of this show, we are going to talk about some very specific things, and you have a chance to be a part of this next amazing transformation of freedom and democracy. And I will be damned if I will be a part of the generation that had this opportunity and didn't try to make it happen. I will not be the first part of human existence who failed to make the next better, bolder freedom and democracy for the world, because every generation before us has done it. And it's just unacceptable that we don't step up. So that's what I had to say.
So thanks so much, Joel. I can see Ashfaq raised his hand. Before you go, bro, I want to take a moment and thanks everyone who joined here. No matter you participate or talk to us, you are joining here, you are showing up. That is the spirit, you know. You care about what's going on around the world. So I'm not gonna take a lot of time. So Ashfaq, come ahead and take it over.
All right, bro, thank you so much. So Jackie actually told quite a few important stuff that went over our heads, because we are not,
Yes.
supposed to all that information in one takeaway. But I mean, thank you so much, Jack, actually bringing those up. we can take a few things from those. And so I want to actually talk about a few stuff here. Okay, number one is the AIG, AGI, artificial general intelligence, where all the AI gets connected and they surpass, human intelligence. And we don't know what happens after that. But here's something interesting. So there's a writer, a lot of you will probably know, but I haven't actually read any of his book, but I am aware of his ideas and I'm pretty much liking it. Isaac Asimov, he actually talked about this connective consciousness, it's similar to AIG or AGI, or what the hell it is. When we all human, connect, we agree on something, it becomes a law. So that's a very powerful thing, and this is happening right at this moment. This is just starting, and it will evolve if we all take our part in it. For the humanity, sometimes we have to sacrifice our sleep or some of our precious time to do things for humanity, and you will know that it's a universal call. You will feel it, and you just accept that call and do your best. You don't have to change the whole world by yourself. We are here for you. You cannot do it alone. I cannot do it alone, but together, yes, we can. Now I want to come to my second point, which is manifestation. So Joel was addressing Jackie, and he is feeling, kind of powerless. I'm not sure if that's the right word, because I know Joel is a very positive person. He a bit visionary as well, because what we are trying to do as nations is not people are not ready for it, but we are trying to make people prepare for this positive change, okay, where nobody has to feel powerless. And that's where my manifestation comes in. I mean, I basically see myself that, okay, maybe I'm powerless, or I do have a little bit of power that I cannot do anything about to make, change things. But I see myself probably in 5 years, 10 years, or even now. Imagine my government or some bad people, put me in jail for protesting for a right cause, or saying that Palestine should be free, something like that, I don't know. And imagine that this network that we have built, you try to do something, you just share a photo on social media, hey, free Ashfaq from prison. So this network also has a value. And I mean, right now we are just a few people, but it's growing, it will be growing. I'm inviting all of you to come in and manifest. Imagine a better picture for your future, for your children's future. And let's work on stuff that will make that future happen. I mean, if you don't sow the seed, you won't have a tree that you can get your fruits from, right? So we need to take some small steps today to reap the fruits tomorrow. And the third thing is, a researcher from United Kingdom reached out to me after reading one of my articles, and he sent out his 3 research documents with me. And he said that, look, after publishing my first article, one of the MPs, ministers, came to him, talked to him. He didn't give me much detail. I asked him if I can write an article with his documents, and he said yes, as long as I cite him properly. So I did. I showed it to him, and it's great. And this is actually what Jackie told, so Jackie actually showed us a photo where you have these multiple layers of people's mindsets, people staying in And Joel Simon Sinek also does the same thing. But I'm going to actually come here and show you this article a little bit. I'm just not going to talk a lot about it, but this is exactly what Jackie said, why nothing changes. I mean, we have seen so many reforms and stuff, but ultimately it comes back to the same point, and you can see that it actually depicts that you try to push it and then it comes back to the bottom. So it has some citations from the document and stuff. I would invite you to read that. If we know why things are not changing, then we have the means to change things for a positive way, so that it doesn't come back to the system that wasn't working. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for giving me time. I can see Jackie and Zuchitil's hand. Maybe you can. Sorry, bro. Do you want to take?
No. Thanks so much. That's wonderful, Ashfaq, that you are writing some good stuff. And I, before I go to Jackie, I want to share something that Ashfaq already mentioned, that we are showing people that how simple it can be. And there are examples like Taiwan, but they are doing it nationally. Think about if we can do it on international scale. So what we could achieve with this tool, So I think it's pretty simple, and we just need to get more people to talk about it, and let our politicians focus to this
We
kind
might
of
be the
stuff.
next generation of politicians, bro. You don't know.
Yeah.
I have
Okay.
plans to
Okay.
politics,
So
not right now. I need to learn a lot before I.
let's hear from Jackie. I think the more we hear from her, the more we get to learn new things. So Jackie, come ahead.
Thank you very much. I would like you to understand that the things that I share are not all things that I just, came up with. I'm building on a body of work, many bodies of work of other people who have influenced my thinking, and all I'm doing is pulling together threads, pulling together the patterns and seeing where they fit like a puzzle piece. So I only have a few minutes left because I have a client that I have to do some work for in about 10 minutes. So I wanted to be sure to say a couple things. One is that right now the world's on fire, and the most compelling argument we have for trying to do something about it is our survival. But that's not compelling enough for people who think there's no future beyond the situation we're currently in. So even though survival is like our immediate concern, painting a brighter future has to be a big piece of that, because there is so much nihilism, meaning people think the world's ending, or it's not worthwhile, or it's over and we should just give up or just do as much damage as we can on our way out. Those are the kinds of thoughts that we need to guard against. And also, even for those people, if they saw a brighter future, then it's easier to give up nihilism. Nature abhors a vacuum. If you, oh, I just got a message that we're not meeting today. Okay. So nature abhors a vacuum, and you can't get rid of nihilism and resignation and deciding that nothing's worthwhile doing because it's all going to hell in a handbasket. If you don't have something to replace it with. So you have to replace the nihilism with a brighter future. And painting what that brighter future looks like is what inspires. It's the why. It's the why at the level of the individual and their family and their community, where their survival is most threatened. And if you get at the whys locally and attach it to the why globally, then you have a force that has to be reckoned with. In other words, tying the local why for the individual and their family and their community to the global why is how you get people inspired to take action now on their local level, which can be as simple as subscribing or joining IOD nations. And if they can see how that is going to paint a brighter future for them and their family, then you're going to get a lot more buy-in. I hope that makes sense. But painting a brighter future is a money and you principle. It's a principle from Buckminster Fuller and Edward Deming and all the other influencers that whose work went into the curriculum for Money and You. And so I just want to point that out. And there was one other thing. Oh, to make sure, two things. The leading, I put this in the chat, the leading edge, which is where we are right now. We're on the leading edge of a movement, but the leading edge is always ahead of the curve. So don't get discouraged that people don't immediately say, oh yeah, I want what you want and I'm coming on board. In this very group, in a previous meeting, I invited you all to come try out our makeshift sessions. No one came from the group. And that's okay, because I understand that it's a leading edge thing. And people join when they've had enough contacts with an idea to get comfortable with it. And so it's kind of like sales and marketing, because I've been in business for 34 years. Sales and marketing has to do with enough contacts with a potential client to get them comfortable enough to know, like, and trust you and feel they can see themselves joining with whatever it is you're offering. And if they don't have enough contacts to have the context of what you're doing, then they're not going to join until they get comfortable, so they know, like, and trust you. And so, Dr. Janice Snow, this is for you. All those people who've said no, you said that you don't stop inviting them until they give you an affirmative no for an answer. And I would say, even past when they give you an affirmative no for an answer, see if you can find a way to paint a brighter future for them. And paint also that they have power, because as Oshkosh was saying, I think of Oshkosh, my gosh, the brand. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, or
I'm not going to call you Kurt. I'm going to call you Oshkosh. I just have to wrap my mouth around it.
All right.
Okay, so what Ashfaq was saying earlier, I've lost the thread now. What did you say earlier? Let's see. Indexing the memories.
Yes, it's quite a few stuff. Maybe you are referring to manifestation or sowing the seed today.
Yeah, that's the topic we were on, and basically, you're sowing the seeds so that people will ultimately see a brighter future, and that they have power. You were talking about you alone don't have power, but you have a tiny little bit of power you could do something with. But that's not where the power exists. The power is in community and coming together, because by ourselves, we can't do anything very much. But together, we can go a long way. So it's the old African proverb, when you want to go fast, go alone. When you want to go far, go together. And what we're asking people to do is to go far and go together. And it's going to take a while for them to know, like, and trust the idea and the people and the movement to want to come on board. So just in marketing, what we do is we drip on people. We keep dripping little bits of value, which is what you're doing in Substack beautifully with your articles, Ashfaq. But we keep dripping little bits of value on people until they get comfortable enough with the ideas and comfortable enough with who they believe we are, to know, like, and trust us enough to say, okay, I'll see what you're up to. I'll get my toe wet. And then you have to keep dripping more value to paint this brighter future, and that things are possible, that know they're not alone, that they can come together and actually have power together, and we can get something done right? So that's the thing. Last thing was the Tuesday afternoon on New York Eastern time. At what time did I say? Let me move this over here. Okay, 3 o'clock, probably until 5 or 6 p.m. New York time. That's Eastern time, US, Canada. Ashfaq and Rakesh and Greco are going to make this thing happen online for us all. We're going to do a workshop on using AI to get stuff done, like figuring out how to get these emails to the right people and to develop a project that people can vote on and decide to help support through an international online democratically led nation. For example, we have people who've asked for support for projects around the Epstein files and the Epstein victims and other things that are worthy of our time and attention and efforts. But making that work faster and easier, reaching out to the unions, that's another project that has been mentioned, making that work lighter and easier using technology, and how to collaborate with AI to get that work done and get high level outputs that will really speed up the work, make you more efficient and creative even, and back it up with research when you need references to back up what you're doing. All of that we're going to cover in Claude AI, and I'll explain more in that workshop why we're using Claude instead of other AIs. And it will be a workshop where we'll do some of this in the workshop. I'm not going to just have slides and show you, the principles. I may not make slides at all. I may just show it all to you in Claude directly. It depends on how much time I have, because I honestly don't want to take a lot of time to make slides. I'd rather just have you experience what it's like to make it happen, and then you can replicate that process yourselves. So it's a workshop, not a class. All right,
Okay.
that's all I got.
Have some
Yeah.
experience running workshops. I actually did it on my university, and people who participated got a certificate from university. Joel actually had recorded something for me that I played, but people's listening, especially when it's a foreign language, it's difficult to concentrate, so that didn't went well. But anyway, I can see Joel's hand. Joel, please come in.
Yeah, before Joel go,
No, Shokatil.
Yes, Suchital wanted to share something.
Yeah. Let's hear from the
If you are still here, you can jump in and share what you got.
Yeah, I'm here.
I hope I pronounced your name correctly.
Yeah,
Sochitil, right?
my name is Sochital.
Sochitil, okay.
Sochitil.
Yeah. So I'm excited.
Okay.
And putting things into terms where it's very grounded. We're human beings or storytellers. We shape reality through our thinking and through what we believe that we tell ourselves. What we tell ourselves that we believe is how we shape the direction of our attention and our energy, our thought and our actions. And our emotions give us energy to take the actions that we need to take. And when we're talking about painting a brighter future, we're talking about telling a better story. And one of the things that flew into my mind and then kind of flew out as far as the direct words I wanted to use is about how democracy is groups of people coming together and pooling our collective individual agency, our ability to choose, our ability to shape a story and to tell a new story, and then direct that through structure into action, into things that affect the real world that we can see, touch, taste, smell. Democracy, for me, I see as a manifestation, an outpicturing of agency. Individuals who realize that they can exert or assert some control, but not control over others. That's dominance. I'm talking about control that is power with. When you honor yourself and that you matter and that everyone around you matters, that you're here for a reason, and that we can collectively drive our story and our structures. What is government but a set of agreements, a set of expectations, a set of standards that are all outpicturings of ideas, thoughts, emotions. So answering the question, why is it that democracy is important? It's because we are important. Because we as individuals with agency who can self-determine, we get to be here and do that collectively. And that matters. There's so much research I could get into about how the brain prefers to be able to predict based on old stories because it's trying to find an efficient way to get things done. And when it figures something out that sort of works, a model that kind of seems to fit, it sticks with that and goes, all right, I'm running with this one. What's next? Trying to figure things out. But it's also self-fulfilling prophecy. And we're looking for the things that confirm the evidence that confirm our already established beliefs. So the things I tell myself that I believe. So what do we want to tell ourselves about what's possible through democracy? Because I look at the world and I go, so much of what we are currently doing based on the old agreements that we believe is just how the world works. So much of that is based on incomplete data and assumptions that might be true mostly because we have agreed to them. So we practice them in our experience, and that's what we get more of. So, had another thought that was important. I was going in a good direction here. Hold on a minute. So, I don't have the thread I was going for because there was a direction that was important, but it will come back around. I am inspired by recognizing that we are all citizens of humanity. and each one of us counts. Our ideas of nations in the old form of geographical borders is more about trying to organize people in that nation than it is about recognizing that the global human family and how we interact on the local level, not just tied to geographical location. I'm not talking about just geographical location. I mean, on the local level of like-minded people. And the place where you are in your community immediately. We have to work together to recognize that, oh yeah, I'm actually part of this global human family and I'm part of my community. So how do I want to direct myself and direct my attention in this world to create a better community and better standards of living? There's a reason why we call it standards of living and standards of relating. There's a Native American phrase that in English goes, "Thank you, all my relations." Relations. We are all related. Every single one of us. We are related. We are related to the earth that we call our home. And recognizing that behaving in right relationship is about honor and the outpicturing of love, the standards by which we conduct ourselves that honor the love that is what ties us all together. And I'm not just talking metaphysically. So I think I'll end there because I could keep going, but my question for us is, what vision of the future are we going to dare to believe in? Because we matter. And we are borrowing. We are on borrowed time, folks. Our lives are short. Why don't we make it the most beautiful time so that we can give it to the next generation? Because, gosh, why would we want to give authoritarianism to the future generations that come after us? We don't like it. Why would we want to give that to the next generations? Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Suchitil. That was so wonderful, and I just want to say you bring a kind of peace in the room when you start to speak. Everything seems to calm down, you know. So thanks for the wonderful explanations. So I can see Joel's and Ashfaq's hand. I'm not a good talker. Rather, I'm a listener. I like to listen. So Joel, come ahead and take it over.
So for those of you who don't know, who have never been here before, Xochitl has been here a number of times and rarely speaks. And wow, is she powerful. What a fortunate experience to have you here with us. Thank you so much. You said dare to believe. And my dog is named Bucky after Buckminster Fuller. And he said, dare to be naive. We are intended to be architects of the future and not its victims. So that quote is what inspired me to say, if a business no longer requires brick and mortar, then a nation no longer requires land and borders, right? So, I mean, we talk about Native Americans, right? I shouldn't say don't they deserve. How freaking cool would it be if the IOD BIPOC Nation formed, the International Online Democratic Black, Indigenous, and Peoples of Color Nation formed? And imagine the indigenous peoples of the world who have been taken advantage of throughout history. Imagine them being united online in a way that was never possible when they were taken advantage of, and they can get a unified voice, and we can listen to their voice and look at their history, because online, every group that forms, every nation that forms, they get to develop their own education system, and they get to educate us and themselves and their children, right? This is in the book, The Recipe. I have Socrates on the front, and I have him on a surfboard given the hang loose sign. And he predicted what is happening. He died to make us listen to what is happening, and that is that we've lost our ability to collaborate and educate with each other, right? And that's the demise of democracy, is when information and education disappears. So storytelling, my dad taught me about Joseph Campbell, and Joseph Campbell taught the power of myth that goes out back through humanity, and these continuing themes of human change and how humans rise up. And if you don't know the story, Joseph Campbell and the Power of Myth was the nexus for all of the Star Wars movies. And that theme of a hero who gets beat down and then rises up and then wins, those stories, that myth is told throughout all of human existence. And what I'm saying here is that we all get to do that at the touch of a mouse or the tap of a screen, right? I use the quote, Horace Mann said, "Be ashamed to die without having won some victory for humanity." We're sitting right here. We can, when you looked at Maslow's pyramid and you looked at what happens if freedom and democracy reaches more people, it provides more people with food, water, shelter, clothing, and sleep. How could we look at that opportunity and not seize it? Right? And so that's why I'm here. That's the why. And that's why I've met these amazing people. So I would just say this, I'm going to present the other side to this that is a bit more harsh than Jackie and Xochitl do. So just 2 days ago, I found a cat had gone into my workshop, and she had 8 kittens. And so I now have 8 feral kittens at my house. And I was talking to a buddy who's working with me, and he was explaining how he had the same thing happen at his house recently, and he came back and several of the kittens were missing. And I went out and I set up a new place for these kittens. And when I went to put them in there today, there were only 5. And that mother made a decision. And for the health and well-being of her family, she had too many kittens, and she took 3 of them away. And they're most certainly dead now. And the point of this is when we unite online and we promote freedom and democracy, it's not going to be easy and people are going to fight against it. And there's going to be really tough, hard decisions and things that happen. And we're not certain about what's going to happen. But we've got to be good mothers and fathers for each other. And we've got to find enough people to make those tough decisions, even if they're wrong sometimes, to know that our intent is to make things better. And our actions are to bring that about. And we're not always going to do it right. And we don't always know what the outcome's going to be. But I can tell you this, I'm convinced it'll be better than if we don't. And Jackie's going to do this workshop. And when she's done, we're going to start cranking stuff out. I've got a list of 4 things. I want to do public outreach to Substack Lives. And I need people to come in and help us create messaging, to help us create not just pictures, but videos and audios and artwork and messaging that tells the story that Xochitl was talking about. We have to tell that story. That we get to tell that story. The internet provides all of these different ways and places, and we get to express ourselves in the most hilarious and heartfelt and mistaken ways to make this happen. We need people to help us come in and work at that. And together we can provide structure and tactics and strategy, and we can provide a democratic way that it can be put up, and we can move this shit forward. The people of Taiwan have done this. Their government has gone from 9% approval to 70% approval. And we can do that too, and we can do way more, and so can they. And that's it. I just thank everybody for being here. We're going to do a workshop on Tuesday, and when we roll out of that workshop with Jackie, we are going to have come up with specific methods to use AI to become more organized and structured and to start reaching out. And we're going to make stuff happen. And we invite all of you to be here and be a part of that. We need you, we welcome you, and we look forward to working with you. And what an amazing group of people to be able to do that with. So that's it.
Yeah, thanks so much, Joel. I think Ashfaq wants to share something, and Draco is working behind to schedule the Tuesday meeting and have the link for us in the Zoom meeting. So Ashfaq, go ahead and.
Okay, a few things. First of all, we have a few people on Substack. They just came in. They don't know about what we are doing, but they heard Xochitl and they mentioned they are feeling positive calming effect. I also felt it. I also saw Joel wiping his eyes. So you have got to give Xochitl, and you should speak more to heal the world. So that's what I want to say to you. To Joel, you need to address those people who wants to learn more about what we are doing here about Iron Nations in short. But before I give you the mic, I want to talk a little bit more about manifestation. I'm pretty sure most of you are familiar with Jim Carrey. I'm a huge fan of him, and I studied his life, not just his, so many other people's lives, but I want to specifically talk about Jim Carrey's life because he wasn't on a good position when he was young, and he used to, go to a quiet hill near his house and scream loudly, looking at the sky. and he wrote a check to himself before he even being an actor. He manifested that, okay, I am writing a check for myself that I will cash in 10 years. So he wrote a $10 million check to himself, and he, made it. So don't be afraid to imagine. The future is what you imagine right now. You just have to work towards it. If you don't work, it won't be the future that you vision. So that's pretty much it. I can see Joel and Jackie had to say something, so I'm gonna leave the mic to Joel, and then Jackie can come in.
Let Jackie go first if you could.
Okay, Jackie, please come in.
I just want to follow what you just said. If you're atheist or you are not religious, then think about manifestation this way, because it's borne out by neuroscience, and it's borne out if increasingly possibly by quantum physics. And that is just on the level of your own subconscious behavior and your own thoughts and feelings and how you filter the world, your saliency system in neuroscience. You will filter for what you expect to see. There's a couple of videos, probably more than a couple, on YouTube, where there's this person in a costume, a gorilla costume or a black bear costume, depending on the video. And the video, it tells you to focus on the two different groups of basketball players who are passing a basketball, and you're supposed to count how many times the basketball gets counted. And when you watch that video, there's also this person in a black gorilla or bear costume that's dancing in and around and among the basketball players passing the basketball. And most people, many people miss that there is even someone doing that. That they miss the black bear, the dancing bear, the dancing gorilla, because they're paying attention to the basketball that is being passed. In other words, they're filtering out the perception of the the gorilla or the black bear. And this is how manifestation in part works. That when you focus on believing and expecting that a certain thing can happen for you, it's not magical in that your thought is just going to attract it. It only happens when you align your motivation, your subconscious motivation, and your conscious desire with your actions and your words and how you talk about the possibility with what it is that you are focused on creating. We are creator beings. And so when we filter out the possibility that anything good can happen, we tend to get more and more bad things that happen. When we filter out the possibility that bad things will happen to some degree, we also, and we focus on good things happening, we tend to open our perception up to the ideas and prospering opportunities that are available to us that we might have missed if we were focused on not getting to have what we want. And so it is, when you're working with manifestation, you're training your attention, your awareness, and your focus, and your words, and your actions, putting them all in alignment with the thing that you want. And if you think about somebody who goes for a job interview after 6 months of not getting any job interviews or being turned down for jobs, and they go into a job, even though the employer, the interviewer is ready to hire them, they go in and they look at their energy and their face and their words, the tone of voice, everything tells the interviewer that gee, they don't really even want this job because they have no enthusiasm for it. They're not going to get the job. And that's because the person who's going in after 6 months of being turned down, they've lost faith in themselves of being able to get a job. And now they're making it come true that they're not going to get a job. because they don't believe it's possible. They're expecting not to get hired. They're expecting to not get the offer. And everything they do on is broadcasting that they are not someone that you should hire. So I'm just saying that if you say, well, I'm not spiritual, I don't believe in this law of attraction thing, I don't believe in manifestation, then give what Ashfaq just told you a new look, a new consideration, because your alignment within yourself about what you believe and expect is going to happen makes all the difference in what does happen for you, because you'll tune into the things that will make that belief come true, and you'll tune out the things that you don't think you don't expect to happen to some degree, and you will act as if the thing you expect to happen is going to happen, whether it's good or bad for you. Okay, same thing with this group. This is a fractal, another fractal. I talk about fractals. How we treat the world's response to IOD nations is what will end up being our results. If we expect that the group won't grow, that this idea will not take hold across the world, well, guess what? It might not be for this group, but somebody else across the globe is going to come up with the very same kind of idea, and they're going to make it happen because they believe in it. They expect it to happen, even though it looks at the beginning like it's not happening. And Joel, 10 years is not very long to develop a new idea and try to bring it into existence. So 10 years is nothing in the course of human history. And if you want a movement to really take root, how long did it take for the women in the United States to get the vote? Wasn't it 1929 when we finally got the vote? Abigail Adams wrote Sam Adams, Remember the Ladies, at 250 years ago. And it took until 1929 for us to get the vote. So sweetheart, Joel, 10 years is nothing. Okay? 10 years is nothing.
Well,
And I know everybody feels like we don't have 10 years even, and we don't, but when there's a good idea in science, you'll find that the Nobel Prize is given to different researchers for the same idea coming up from different parts of the world, and they didn't even communicate with each other. When humanity's consciousness is ready for a new idea, it pops up through different people around the planet who may not be in physical, digital conversation with each other at all, but humanity's consciousness is ready for that idea, and it's going to come through somewhere. It will break through probably multiple places at the same time, or roughly the same time. That's how connected we are in humanity's consciousness. Okay, I'm done.
thank you so much, Jackie.
Yeah. So
All right. Who else is out there? Anybody?
nobody except you. Go
Okay,
ahead.
let's wind this thing down. Hey Draco, can you bring up those slides? So for everybody who's here, who's stuck around, you're at iodnations.org, International Online Democratic Nations.org. We promote the idea and the undeniable future of online citizen-led democratic nations. They're coming. Some of you are going to be a part of it. Martin is asking, now that we're here united, what do we do? Martin, we're doing a workshop on Tuesday, but and there's a women's group meeting tomorrow at 11 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, and they are working on some things. AC and Karma and some of the other gals have put together some email templates that they're going to begin sending to unions. AC has some amazing ideas. We're not just talking about concepts, we're talking about actual strategies and tactics of things that can be put in place when we become united online. Okay. there's just so much to explain here, but I'm going to give you, I'm going to tell you that there are concrete, consequential, legitimate world-changing things that you can accomplish at the click of your mouse if you unite online. You can read the book, read the manifesto, they'll help explain it. We are not here just to talk, and we're not here to complain about what the problems are. We're here to join together and solve them. So for those of you who haven't seen this before, Draco and I put this together, and I'm going to give you the condensed version. What you're looking at on your screens is planet Earth. Traditionally, we started with tribes, and we've moved all the way through to where now the most powerful and influential form of human collaboration that exists, bigger than religion, bigger than culture, bigger than anything, okay? The highest form of human collaboration that exists currently are nations, okay? And what we do at IOD Nations is we redefine what a nation is. If a business like Amazon or Facebook, if they no longer require brick and mortar, because in essence their foundation was online and on the internet, then a nation no longer requires land and borders. The women of the world can unite online democratically, and I say democratically because that's the other common thread. They unite as women, and they unite democratically because they know they have to represent each other to collaborate. Now, show the next slide, Draco. This is the people as we exist now. We are functioning as the humans on planet Earth and as collaborations of traditional land and borders-based nations. Go ahead to the next one, Draco. This is what happened when Al Gore, our hero, invented the internet, okay? A little over 30 years ago. And we at IOD Nations, we view the internet as an alternative environment. It completely surrounds our planet now. This never existed 30, 35 years ago. It was not a part of our life. We didn't make decisions around it. We didn't communicate with it. We didn't do anything. And it came, and now our world has this whole new environment that envelopes it. Okay? Go ahead next, Draco. These entities have now become powerhouses in the internet, okay? These are controlling, dominating, wealthy, and powerful interests of all kinds. Go ahead and show the next one, Draco. There are also nefarious parties like Russia and Iran and North Korea and China and other authoritarians. Remember, none of these are democratic. They are all authoritarian that are out there, and they're exerting immense power and influence over us. And what they've done, this flip of this turn of the page, this change of the script. If I were to ask everyone here if you access the internet, as those arrows indicate, you would say, yes, I'm reaching out and I'm accessing Facebook, I'm accessing Reddit, I'm accessing Pinterest. But at IOD Nations, we disagree. Go to the next one, Draco. You do not access the internet, okay? We are the internet, and without us, they ain't shit. Okay, we have to get assertive. We can be kind and loving and also be demanding. Can you throw the next one up, Draco? And what happens is when we become demanding and when we realize that Facebook doesn't really have any value other than their ability to market to us. They've convinced us that we access them, but the reality is they access us. Now, in around planet Earth, you'll see like the IOD UK nation, the IOD USA nation, the IOD climate nation, women's nation, art nation, youth nation, Ukraine nation, Denmark nation. Okay. We can unite and collaborate, as Xochitl was pointing out, anywhere, any way we want to, because we are self-determinate. We still have control over ourselves. And what happens is when we unite and we realize that we are the internet, that they're all trying to get access to us. Show the next image, Draco. We realize that when YouTube or Reddit tries to reach us, right? When they try to sell access to us to make money and have us continue to fund their control and influence over us, we just put up filters. And our filters say, if you're not pro-democracy, you don't get unfiltered access to us. You have to go through our filters because you are a social media platform that is not pro-democracy. And if you want to know what that means, Ashfaq and I and the guys, we've tried to run ads that use the actual words on Facebook, freedom and or democracy. And in essence, they won't let us. Facebook does not allow paid ads. In essence, there's maybe some ways you can squeeze through, but for all intents and purposes, we don't get to promote and advertise freedom and democracy on Facebook. Why the fuck do I want to work with Facebook? I'm sorry to sound rude, but why am I letting them sell access to me when they won't even support promoting freedom and democracy? So we're going to bounce that shit back at them. And we're going to take control because we are the internet. And without us, they ain't shit. And if we don't let them sell access to us unless they're pro-freedom and democracy, and if we put those filters in place, all of a sudden, we've completely flipped the script, right? We're not reaching out to them, telling them to be good. They're coming to us and they're saying, how can we get access to us? Our business is failing because you're filtering us. What do we need to do? And the first thing we do is we say to Facebook, well, damn it, you start, not only do you let us do ads that are pro-freedom and democracy, you change your damn algorithms and you start promoting that and you make that a whole part of your mission. And this is what we mean when we say we can control the internet. We are the internet. Without us, they ain't shit. And if they're not going to cooperate, what's our message to them, Draco? By the way, I love the color orange because I'm Dutch. Wait, go back. We flip them the bird. Okay? And so that's why you're here. We're here to hold out like Jackie and Xochitl and everyone said. We're here to wrap our arms around and embrace and support the pro-freedom and democracy citizens of the world and unite with them. But we're also here to send a very specific message. If you're not pro-democracy, if you can't demonstrate it and prove it, we're going to limit your access to us. And that's why, as Simon Sinek said at the beginning of this, what is our why proposition? And our why proposition is, it's our time in history. We are here right now to unite the pro-democracy citizens of the world online, democratically, to make the world a better place. And the reason why you're here is because you're worried about what's happening and you want to have an effect and make things better. So thank you for visiting IOD Nations. Martin asked what we're going to do. Martin, we're kind of playing with our schedule. We're going to change some things because we're spending so much time doing live feeds that we're not getting some of the things done we need to. We're going to have this workshop with Jackie, and we're going to develop tactics and strategies to start making outreach work, and to get those of you who are here and all of those who have emailed us in the past saying they want to help and they want to volunteer. When Tuesday is done, there will be plans, strategies, and tactics in place. And we're going to spend less time talking about this stuff. And whenever we are here talking about it, you should know there will be a group of people who are putting in the work behind the scenes to actually accomplish things and to achieve our why. And the reason why is to help you unite online democratically and make the world a better place and give people hope. And that's what we're here for.
Amazing, amazing. Joel, are we going to do a work group meeting after this live show?
I think anybody who wants to come in can talk briefly. I have to get rolling. But I'm here and available. Anyone else who wants to. So
Okay,
I
so
don't
I
know.
Jackie and I definitely need to talk, and it will be better if you stay in there.
I'll stay.
We can also bring in some, like anybody can come in. So just let us know you are interested, and we'll send you the link. Okay.
Let me ask you this, Ashfaq.
Yeah.
Should we try something different here? Because we've done new Zoom calls and we lose a lot of people. Should we just say bye to everyone?
Stay here and stop streaming.
Yep.
Yeah, actually, Jackie was suggested another alternative, Zoom alternative. I need to go through, compare the pricing and features, and we can actually move to a new thing. I don't know. We will figure that out. So
here's my recommendation.
Sure.
Okay. My recommendation is we tell everybody who's here, we're going to shut down the Substack. Okay. We're done with today's live. If you haven't shared your email with us, can you guys put the email link where people can email us if they would like to continue to get notified and be a part of this? We really appreciate your time. We know it's long-winded. There's a lot to understand here. It has a lot of meaning. So we're just doing the best we can, guys. And then what I would say,
yeah, go ahead.
Well, let me just finish.
Yes.
So we're going to close the Substack. We're going to shut it down. We're going to tell everybody who's here who wants to leave that you can leave. What you're going to witness if you stay here and listen is we're going to talk as a group about the things that we're trying to accomplish by Tuesday and what our goals and objectives are. You can see the challenges you can listen to some of the challenges we've got. You can have some input, whatever it is. If you stay, we welcome you, but we're going to work through things quickly. We won't be able to talk to everybody, and we're going to move forward. That's where we are.
Okay, so I put the link, email address and our website link on Substack, and I think if we are doing a working group meeting, I think we should share the Zoom link on the Substack feed and on the Zoom feed as well, so that
but it's
And
going to be this same Zoom link. Is that correct, Ashfaq?
actually, Draco and Rakesh knows it better than me because they set it up.
Yeah, if we stay here, it will be the same Zoom link. So if we hang up and create another meeting, then
I don't.
It will be
I'd prefer not to hang up. I want to stay here. I want to let people leave, and I want to move forward.
All right.
Okay. We can just stop streaming, but before we stop streaming, I actually want to ask you something. I mean, remember I shared a video of a guy and his daughter. Should I share that?
You should share that right now. Thank you for reminding me, guys. You will never see so much packed into so few words as what you're about to witness. This is a really, really powerful video.
So let me know if you guys can see.
I see it.
Okay, let me play it, okay?
Yep.
Is Mom a communist?
No.
Am I?
I saw it.
Well, why don't we give you the official test? Mom makes your favorite lunch,
Ham and cheese.
ham and cheese. And at school, you see someone with no lunch at all. What do?
Share.
Share. Well, you don't tell them to just go get a job.
No.
Oh, you offer them a loan at 6%. Oh, that's very clever.
Dad.
Ah, then you just ignore them.
No.
Well, well. You little commie.
So, what do you think about it?
No.
Am I?
What do you think, Jackie?
Oh, I had to put my hearts up. I absolutely love that because that really gets to the heart of we're in this together on the planet. You know, we're in this together in our communities and in our families. We're in this together at the largest scale of humanity. And yet we have this idea that it's not okay to make sure everyone has what they need because somehow they don't deserve it. They have to earn the right to breathe clean air. They have to earn the right to have fresh, clean water. They have to earn the right to have clothes and a house, housing. They have to earn the right to have freedom or to even be able to vote or to move freely across nation state borders to find work when the capital, the money flows wherever it wants to because those who control the flow of capital have freedom. And we have to earn our conscious choices even. We have to, it's ridiculous that we have to earn anything that is a vital human right. You know, mental freedom is a human right. Healthcare should be a human right. Food and clean water and clean air and an environment that is free of pollution and education, those should all be human rights. And yet, like that little girl, she's like, it's ridiculous. Why would I not share my sandwich? It's a basic thing we teach children. And guess what? Dogs, I mean, Joel, you're a dog owner. Dogs have a sense of fairness. And I'm here to tell you that I've had dogs and cats have a sense of fairness too. All mammals seem to have something hardwired in about fairness, and it's not dog eat dog, survival of the fittest. We thrive on sharing. That little girl has that. She knows what's right. Period.
It's both. It's the yin yang, right? There are elements of dog eat dog where there's survival, but that overall survival is ultimately built into nature for the ultimate best outcome of the wolves, for instance, right? And so, but we as human beings, we're at this higher level and we have this ability, like Bucky referred to, right? We can do better. We can really do a lot for everybody. And so
well, let me say something about dogs and survival real quick. And that is that dogs or wolves, animals eat when they need to survive. It is also true that cats will kill birds and things they don't eat. I do get that. But it is not part of the dogs don't kill just to kill generally. They do it for survival. Right. And we as human beings don't need to stop other human beings from having their basic rights or their basic needs met just because we can stop them from having their basic rights or their basic needs met. We have the power to distribute things in a way out of an abundant world, if we so choose. And that's the argument I have for why don't we? We can. We can just as easily be jerks about it, or we could be kind and loving and
Yes.
have stronger relationships.
I want to add
Not
something.
only, wait. Sorry. But Jackie, not only can we do it, we are the generation that has been born and is historically living in the time when it's easier and we are more capable of accomplishing it than any other previous version of humanity. We have this phone and this mouse, and it has taken, we get to redesign this world, right? Xochitl was talked about it so deeply and so thoughtfully. We get to create this in many ways. It's not going to be perfect and all that, right? Because it's modeled after us. But we have this moment in time where we get to do this where no other humans could. It's easier for us than it has ever been before. And like JFK said, the Chinese have two characters for the word crisis. The first character represents danger, and the second character represents opportunity. Be aware of the danger, be aware of AI, be aware of the internet, be aware of the problems, but do not let that stop you from seizing the opportunity. Take advantage of this. It's ours. It's right here. Sorry, Ashfaq. We're going to do this and then end this thing.
Okay, so I just wanted to add to Jackie's point. I know that United States and other wealthy countries, they actually dump their rice and paddy. I mean, whatever is extra, they don't need to like stock it. I know this is happening. I mean, in a like same world, in one part people are dying out of hunger, and another part people are throwing out tons and tons of foods into the ocean because
Yeah, it's
they
not in
want
the
to.
United States. It's we all are wasting foods.
No, I'm not talking about the food waste that we individuals do. I'm talking about to control the market, to keep the prices stable or like how they want. They have to, cut the flow, or I mean, they don't want to just store it, or they don't have the capacity to store it. I mean, they can build something to store it, but they are throwing out millions and millions of tons of rice, paddy. This is like well documented. It's not United States. I mean, all the wealthy countries, not all the wealthy countries, but I mean, we are running on a scarcity system, and most of them are doing the same thing. Like we have all this food and stuff, yet they are like brainwashing us to think that okay, food is not available, it's scarce, you have to earn it.
That's right. That's right. We have to work for each other. And I can see, sorry, Ashfaq, I can see Suchitil
Yeah.
raised her hand.
Yes. Let's
So,
hear from Suchitil.
Suchitil, please unmute yourself and let us know what you want to say, and we will end it once you are finished.
Yep. Thank you.
Hi. So my heart's really in this. And so I'm really that video that you just showed reminds me that indigenous peoples all over the world and in our natural state as human beings, we understand that everything is a gift. In indigenous cultures, the water that we drink, the food that we eat, it's all considered a gift. And of course, we would reciprocate in kind by giving back, by contributing to our community. And the everything that we have come up with, where we have seen a need that we have tried to fill by coming up with a solution, even scarcity, operating on scarcity, has been a adaptation to try to respond to need. And I look at how human beings thrive in community through mutual care, through being able to reciprocate and respond to needs and desires that come from being able to create adaptations that respond to perceived problems. We are a very ingenious species, and we also create our own problems so that we can find new solutions. And I'm sitting here and I'm looking at, okay, everything's a gift. And on the very basic meeting one another with we come from our mothers, and we come from the community that brought together the caring of men and women, where and I'm not just talking about men and women as groups, or it's not about sex or gender. It's about the people in the community, and it's not just about the roles, but the individuals, regardless of your gender or sex. So, and sex is biological, by the way, gender is an identity. Anyhow, of course we can solve these problems, because even scarcity coming from an adaptation trying to meet a need, we invented that. We came up with the idea that it was actually Thomas Malthus who was like, well, our resources are scarce, and based on these calculations, we're going to run out of food. Guess what? That was proved incorrect later. But we have continued the mindset and the activities that produce those results of scarcity. And that's a social structure, a social contract that has structures of economics and thinking that perpetuates those ideas. So my bottom line here is everything's a gift. And of course, we, with our big, beautiful brains and our ability to solve problems, we have everything we need to create that brighter future. We are that. It's just remembering to access that truth and living it, putting it forth into the world, which is what we're here to do. And it's what we're already doing just by shifting our thinking of what's possible. Shifting our awareness is the first step. So thank you.
Wow.
Thanks,
That was
everybody.
awesome. Yeah, thanks everybody. Thanks for joining.
We're gonna close all of this out. We will be here. Tell your friends. Tell every group that you go into. I'm gonna sound like a preacher. There's hope, and it's not just abstract bullshit that might happen. There's hope, And that hope is at the tip of your mouse and on the screen of your phone if you choose to be a part of it. And we're going to do it. And we would love you to join us. So thanks so much for being here. We really appreciate you. And I told you this show would be different, didn't I?
Yeah,
It
it
is.
was one of the best, I mean, most insightful Iron Nations live show I have ever had. So thanks
And it's all
everyone.
because we're leading with the heart. We're leading with why. And we're here because we're good human beings and we're powerful and we're self-determinate and we're going to make shit happen. And that's why we're here. We're going to unite the pro-freedom and democracy citizens of the world online.
Dr. Jesdil is saying that he will go door to door to tell about
There's a meeting tomorrow at 11 o'clock. The ladies, the Online Suffragette Saturday group will be meeting, led by Karma. I know there'll be a bunch of others there. Thanks everybody for being here. We
That's
really
11 o'clock.
appreciate you.
Sorry, Joel, 11 o'clock Pacific, which is California time, and is 2 o'clock Eastern New York time. And
Right.
I think that it would be nice if you, Rakesh, and Ashfaq also say what time it is in your time zone, because
Yeah, it's,
whenever we say a
12
time,
a.m.
say the time zone, please.
12 a.m.
Hey, and yeah, and just on a fun note, can I just say there is nothing as fun and rewarding as watching Jackie, whose daughter is named Xochitl, struggle with saying Ashfaq, right? I mean, if that is just not as good as it gets, there's just nothing better in this world.
So let's stop the live stream and let's have a private conversation.
Yeah, let's make
All
them
right, let's do
stop.
that.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you so much, everybody.